doing a little bit of earthquake proofing in the house, and this is how I earthquake proofed my TV. It doesn't look professional or anything like that, but it'll do the trick, and nobody comes into the house anyway, and but this will do the trick. Just a couple kids' belts wrapped around the base of the TV, and I know you can get stands and stuff, and in fact I thought I had a stand that I could use to do this, but the legs came out too far for my shelf, so it really wouldn't work that well, and I'd have to fabricate it up, which this is just the same. It's fabricated up now and it'll work. So that kind of keeps my TV from falling off unless it's a really bad earthquake. And it'll, this will be the weak point now if it gets really, really bad. But I think if it gets that bad, I have a whole lot of other things I have to worry about more than having a TV. And this is how I earthquake proofed my shelves. Right there, a little ring bolted to the wall on a piece of wood that is bolted in across the whole distance to each set of studs. So then that it's not tight, so that it actually gives the shelves a little bit of wiggle. But if they were bolted right to the wall, then everything on the shelves is going to fall off. With the shelves having a little bit of wiggle to them, then the stuff that is on the shelves, hopefully it'll ride the earthquake out and not just fall right off. And I did this to each set of shelves that I have in the cabin on both ends. So we went through a little bit of an earthquake about 3 weeks ago now. And so it was a good reminder that, hey, we need to get some of our stuff earthquake proofed. And that is kind of what we've been working on a little bit each weekend, getting that done the last few weekends. And by the way, so these little garage sale finds in a bucket, and those belts were found in a free pile on the side of the road. So you don't have to spend a ton of money to get this stuff done. You just have to save the stuff whenever you find it on the cheap. You save it and pile it up. That's what being a little bit of a hoarder where it kind of comes in handy once in a while. There's another set of shelves right there. And I guess I should say, instead of being a hoarder, being opportunistic. And when things present themselves at garage sales or stop at the side of the road when there's a pile of stuff out there and they have it marked free, just because somebody else is giving it away doesn't mean that it's garbage. Sometimes you find a little bit of a treasure. I just want to take a minute and show you some of the things I've picked up the last couple of weeks. Just being opportunistic, I guess would be the best way to put it. And some of this stuff comes from where I work, and they replaced their roll bag holders. And so I was able to get the stands for the roll bag holders, and that's some thin wall 1-inch square tubing, and this isn't all of it. I have some that I put next door and it got covered up in snow, but this is just some of it, some of the pieces. And each one of these has a metal plate that is fairly thick. It's a nice heavy-duty metal plate. And that right there is worth a pretty penny if you were to want to go buy it. And then yesterday, sitting on the side of the road, is somebody's, used to be one of those covered tents that you park in or something, and I'm sure the wind got a hold of it and destroyed it. But they had all the metal sitting out on the side of the road. And yeah, it's never going to be a metal tent again in the form that it was. But, I mean, these are some nice tubes, you know. Some of them are bent. Not, you know, it's the natural bend because it's kind of like a greenhouse, you know, a high tunnel, you know, natural bend in it. Some of it is bent because of the wind, where it destroyed it. But now a lot of people, they look at this kind of stuff and they say, well, it's just junk. It just needs to go to the scrap pile and be recycled or thrown in the dump. And this is the prime example of the stuff that I collect because I don't have to pay for it. And whenever I am doing a project, I have a pile of metal that I can go get from and do. And I've already got ideas for some of this. These smaller pieces, I want to make more of a tent type, more of a teepee, or a use it for the netting on my chicken coop, the run area. I want to use it to help hold we use an old fish net, the big old commercial fish net that was given to me for the top of the chicken coop to keep the hawks and the predator birds out. And it starts to sag after a while and stuff, and I just want to help prop it up with those smaller pieces of metal. I can bolt 3 or 4 of them together if I have to. I can make them as long as I want. It's pretty rigid. I can reinforce it. So I do have ideas for some of this stuff already. And like this metal stand right here, that would be a perfect stand to take out to the gun range. And at the top here, you just affix a wooden frame to hold your target, and you know, then you're not shooting metal, hitting metal with the having ricochets and stuff. But I can cut these down to any height I want. So yeah, I think that would be a perfect target holder at the gun range. It's a nice heavy base on it. All of these pieces right over here, they're just more of the roll bag holders, but that's some pretty heavy metal. It's got some nice wing nuts and fasteners in it that when I take it apart, I can keep all the fasteners. And then a couple broken step ladders. And there again, this is aluminum, so worst case scenario, I recycled the aluminum, and but that's not what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to fix those so that I can use them in various locations around my property. I didn't pay anything for any of this. It was all free, and this is just my way of being opportunistic. When I see a pile sitting on the road, yeah, I'm gonna probably stop and pick it up. If, you know, I kind of let it be known that I will take stuff. I ask if it looks like it's going into the dump and I'm at work, I'll say, yeah, I'll take that instead of throwing it away. I'd rather reuse it than see it go to the dump. And the more you put it out there that you're willing to take stuff, you'll have people who will approach you and say, hey, do you want this? You don't always have to say yes, but if it's something you think you can use, I say grab it, take it, and use it rather than fill the dump up with more usable stuff. I think the way everything's going, and with the economy taking a nosedive the way it is and people getting laid off, I think some people are going to wish they had some of this stuff still. Because you can get yourself out of a little bit of a pickle, especially if you own property or you have stuff or you want to do stuff and you don't have the money. You know, this is how I make the little bit of money that I do earn and I do have. This is how I stretch it out. When I want to do a project, I don't have to go to the store and buy brand new. Sometimes having this piles of this stuff on your property, you don't have to have it laying out where everybody can see it or makes your property look like a mess. You just tuck it away. I have it here right now because there's snow everywhere. I will get this tucked away come springtime once I can get back into where I have my pile of metal. I don't usually do a lot of metal projects and stuff in the wintertime. Most of my projects are all done in the summer, so I can tuck and hide that pile of metal away. And I can always shovel a path to it if I want to get to it. So here's another thing that I collected. I got it for free when I first moved up here. And it is an old commercial freezer that they had deemed it was going to be too expensive to fix, so they were giving it away. They replaced it with a new freezer, and I took all of the refrigerant parts, and they were all on top. I took all of the refrigerant parts off and out, and I turned it into this is where I keep all of my animal feed. And I screwed, this door was sprung just a little bit, so I screwed it shut. You can't open it, but put a latch on it. And, we've been using it for, my goodness, since 2007, we've been using it to store our animal feed in, and it works perfectly. I have never had an issue with rodents getting in there and causing me any problems. And it was a free item to me, and I had to I had to put up with a little bit of resin from my brother, because I had, it was too heavy and too awkward for me and Kara to move by ourselves, so I had to ask for help, and he gave me a bad time. As I recall, he gave me a pretty good bad time about that, what are you doing with this? This is crazy. Oh my goodness, if I knew you were gonna ask me to help you move this, oh wow. What are you gonna do with this? Just the normal brother stuff. Yeah. And I still remember that. If you're watching this video, I still remember that. And it's all good. I laugh about it. I laugh about how crazy I am, and but there are people out there that if you're struggling for money and you're trying to think outside the box just a little bit, or if you do think outside the box just a little bit, go to one of those appliance repair places and see if they have a chest freezer. You know, if you're looking for something to store your animal feed in, I'm not saying, I don't know, but you're looking for something to store your animal feed in. An old junk chest freezer that isn't all rusted out or anything, it's perfect. It's perfect to store your animal feed in. You're gonna put it in there, and you know, the hardest part's gonna be getting it in there, because once you use it, that bag's gonna be really easy to pull back out. Put some dividers in there, and animals will not get into your food, you know, your feed. Upright freezers. I have a freezer next door that, you know, that's what I store all of my fishing stuff in, is an upright freezer that's sitting outside, and it's well protected. Just, you know, I'm not saying load your place up with a whole bunch of junk, but I'm just saying think outside the box, and maybe have just a little bit, be a little bit more open to, I don't know, just think outside the box. So another way that I have been keeping myself busy in the evenings is going through dimes, this box of dimes, to see if I could find any silver in it. And with the help of that nice magnifying glass and my glasses, help me read those dates, because on dimes it's really small. I was not able to find any silver in this box of dimes, but what I did find is extra dimes, the 9 of them. So I got paid 90 cents to look through those dimes, and sometimes it works out the other way, where you get a roll of them and you're missing more dimes than you actually find, and I end up taking dimes out of my pocket to fulfill the box. But this time I'm 90 cents ahead. You know, I'll just throw that in a jar, and the next one, if I have to, if it's missing some dimes, I'll just grab one of those 9 and throw in there to equal it out and make it right, because I do not want to be handing them back in to the bank missing any dimes. But I will definitely keep them if there's extra. But that's another way where I keep myself busy on these nights where I can't be outside. And that little bit right there is all I have left to go through for the brass that I picked up last Sunday. Not sure if I'll be going to the gun range this weekend or not. I can still keep myself busy this next week, taking all the primers out. But it's easier to do it if it's all the same brass. You're not having to sort through it while you're depriming them. It goes a lot faster depriming them when they're all the same. That is another way that I keep myself busy until the snow is gone, and I'm just trying to keep myself busy doing something rather than just laying around watching TV. So that's going to just about do it for this video. Thank you for watching this edition of Not So Remote Alaska. And until next time, may God bless and keep each and every one of you. And with that, I am out.